legend in the sport of boxing. We are pleased to welcome the founder and CEO of the promotion company Top Rank, Mr. Bob Arum. Always a pleasure to have you with us. Thank you so much for being here.
Great to be here.
Wonderful to have you. I am going to start on a very somber note, though. I want to get your thoughts. You've been in boxing a very long time. Junior middleweight Patrick Day, who suffered a 10th-round knockout loss on Saturday night, died from brain injuries on Wednesday at Northwestern Memorial Hospital in Chicago. Day was just 27. Bob, what was your reaction to that tragedy?
Absolute shock and despair. I knew Day. He had fought his previous fight under our promotion. He was a lovely young man, very articulate, and for him to have tragically passed in this way, I just can't explain it, and I'm devastated.
His father's a doctor. His mother can't watch boxing because it's too violent. And Bob, I can't help but to think that the day of the fight weigh-in, right, versus the day before the fight weigh-in. I don't have the evidence to prove that it has something to do with it, but I feel like the more guys suddenly have to fluctuate in weight, hydrate and dehydrate and rehydrate, the more dangerous it is. And I wish they would go back to doing it like they did it in the old days.
I couldn't agree with you more, Max. The weigh-ins should be on the same day the way they used to be. If they're the day before, the fighters get down to the lowest possible weight, and then they try to rehydrate up to
20 pounds of water weight sometimes. It's crazy.
And I think that's very, very dangerous. If they weigh in the day of the fight, there's just a very small window where they'll put on extra weight.
Bob Arum, Stephen A. here. Always great to see you, buddy. Thank you for being on the show. I'll throw this question at the both of you, you and Max. Promoters are widely recognized in boxing as having a tremendous level of influence and power. What do you guys think you can do to address the very, very issue that Max just brought up?
So Bob's having a hard time hearing Stephen A. Yeah. That promoters, have a big influence in boxing. It's not like there's one standardized league like in other sports or even tour like the PGA or something. So Stephen A. was asking what you guys can do as promoters, for example, to influence or try to influence getting things like that changed.
What we have to do is speak to all the commissions, particularly the major commissions in the United States. Nevada, Texas, California, New York, Pennsylvania, and have them make that change. And I think once the change is made in the United States, the rest of the world will follow.
Bob, tomorrow night, light heavyweights in Philadelphia. I mean, when you say those two words, for people who don't know, light heavyweights in Philadelphia, to a boxing fan, you're like, okay, what do we got? We got a unification fight with the lineal champ Vojdik against Beterbiev, who is the blue chippest guy of all those Russian light heavyweights. You made an interesting comment to me before we got on air. In a year where we've had great fight of the year after fight of the year, Triple G and Derevyanchenko, Porter and Spence, earlier even the Ruiz upset of Joshua, all fight of the year type fights. But going in, none of them were considered like 50-50 fights. They were considered, there was definitely a favorite. In this fight, going in on paper, maybe the best matchup of the year.
Nobody knows who's going to win. And that's why it's a 50-50 fight. You check with the sports books, and they will show you how close a fight this is. Now, a fight can start out to be a 12-1 fight like Spence and Porter and turn out to be a very competitive fight. But a fight that starts out as a 50-50 fight really gets my brain going. And there's
nothing better. What are you so excited about this fight about?
This is what I'll tell you. NFL, NBA, some other leagues consistently give you a better product than boxing.
Yeah.
Consistently.
Okay.
But the best sports has to offer, the best, it does not get better, is in a big fight, top of the division, two guys in their primes. Going in, you can't imagine what's about to happen. It's very hard to say who's going to win. And you get that ding, ding, round one. As a fan, there's no more thrilling moment in sports. And this is that kind of fight.
That is correct. I mean, college football, there's games where one team is a 30-point favorite. And there are other games where it's really close, a point or so. This fight
a pick'em.
is a pick'em fight.
And promises to be action-packed.
It's going to be great. And Max Kellerman's hosting
I
it
am hosting.
Friday night in Philly. We got boxing back on ESPN. Bob Arum's in the house. Who's better than us? Thank you, sir. So great to
My
see you,
pleasure.
as always. After the break, one of the top tight ends in the NFL joins us. The Panthers' Greg Olsen will tell us what is different between Cam's team and Kyle